Up next on the show, it is Aleta St James. Welcome to the show, Aleta.
Thank you, Don. I'm so happy to be here, of course,
I'm
on
so
this
happy to,
this
yeah,
eclipse, right? This is a solar eclipse.
I feel it. I feel the energy. I certainly do. We had so many funny little, I'm not even going to call them mishaps, but we had so many silly things happen. We've had a can of paint fall over, and then our cameraman accidentally walked in it and then like walked across the floor. And we were all scrubbing, literally between guests. We were like, me included, scrubbing the carpet, scrubbing the floors. We had people that had migraines. Everybody kind of manifested it in a very different way. But it's all energy. It's all this strange happenings, but we just have to embrace them. And I know that you're a person that fully embraces life. Tell us your journey. How did you find that you had the energy to embrace whatever was challenging you and pushing that forward?
Well, from when I was a child, it's like if anyone believes in astrology, I have a very difficult chart. A lot of my planets are in the 12th house. So it's almost like, yes, I can get to a certain level and then Saturn will hit and I have to prove myself to get to the next level. So I started out very young on stage when I was like 6 years old. And by the time I was 12, I was doing summer stock. And I always wanted to be an actress. I had a cousin, James Linegro, that Lauren Martin, my daughter, knows from Plymouth, Massachusetts. And he was always my mentor in terms of stage. And so I left home at 17, saved my money, went to England, went to English drama school, and got the lead in Hair in the Amsterdam production of Hair. And so I had a really amazing life with traveling through Europe and studying with Fialka's Mime Company in Czechoslovakia after the Russians landed. I mean, it was a crazy life. However, when I came back to America, it was almost like, oh, well, you were a star in Europe, but who are you now? I had no contacts at all. So I started my own rock and roll band. I was in Trudy Heller's. I don't know if anybody ever remembers Trudy Heller's, but it was a really big club at the time. I was living on Christopher Street. I was waitressing. I did all that stuff. And then I started, believe it or not, kind of my mid 20s, actually directing star packages, like with Broderick Crawford, Pernell Roberts, Robert Forrester in Cuckoo's Nest and Championship Season with Danny Aiello. And that was like unheard of at the time, but I was gifted in my ability to do that. But then from there, I was realizing that I had this healing gift because I was working on myself to level myself up. When, in show business, you feel rejected. You know how that is, Donna. One minute you're on high and the next minute, who are you? And then I started working on myself and realized, whoa, if I could do this for me, I can do this for my acting friends. And they were all saying to me, what are you doing? You seem so happy. You seem like, you're elevated. And I said, yeah, I'm doing such and such. So I started working on them. And before you know it, it like took over. People were saying, come to, the opera company in Nuremberg and go back to England and, go to Spain and go to Italy. I was working all over Europe in terms of the energy transformation work I can do because I was gifted with an intuitive sight. I can see like energy fields and what's in the subconscious part of someone that's blocking them. I can help clear it, and then I can use the spiritual energy to totally, transform it and level up. And the biggest challenge I would say was I always wanted to have children. And I would always say, I'm doing this because I'm going to have children at some point. And finally, at 49, my friend said to me, Aleta, don't you think you should start? And I laughed and I said, yeah, I guess I'm 49 because my grandmother had my mother at 54, the big Italian family. She was the last of 13. So I figured I had all the time in the world. I could do whatever I wanted, learn this, go there. And so I started. I had a partner at the time that was really wonderful. And I really started, but it took me 7 years of a fertility journey at that particular time to actually realize my twins at 57. And there was nothing in my mind. That's what I know, the power of the mind. I never thought I couldn't do it. Like if people said, you can't do this, you're too old, I'd say, just watch me. Or I'd have in my mind winding up and not down. So I had them at 57, and they said, "What's going to happen when you're 75? You're going to look decrepit. They're going to be 18." I said, "I'm going to look better then than I do now." And it's really true because I'm into the ageless factor now. I'm into winding up and not down and age reversing, going backwards, so that I have in my head, okay, I'm going to live to 120. And so I do everything on earth to make sure my health, my physical, emotional, and mental bodies are aligned with my higher spiritual self. I work on that. I do scalar waves 10 hours every day in Staten Island at an EES center, which puts high frequency energy into your body. I'm always studying, I'm always leveling up so that I can contribute like massive amounts of change and transformation to all my clients. And I just did an amazing seminar called Own Your Worth in Las Vegas, which I was able to connect my performer, which is my singer and dancer, with my healer on the stage. It was phenomenal. Thousands of women were watching. And I just went, wow, I'm right in my zone at 76. I'm performing and I'm healing. I put it all together. So now as I move forward, and I got accolades for it, standing ovations, the whole thing, I went, wow, it's just beginning for me at 76. It's just beginning. I'm dating, I'm connecting with men. It's fun, more so than, once the kids were born, that was it. For 18 years, closed shop, was not interested. It was my kids. Now I feel like I have a whole new life starting with a lot of expansion and possibilities. And my whole world is opening up in a bigger way than it's ever happened before. So when people think about retiring, I never did. And when people say, I'm getting old and blah, 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 and use that as an excuse, I just don't buy it. And so the people that are working with me, I'll take them to Mexico. We'll do some of the stem cell work. We'll do the cutting edge of detoxing your system so that you don't have to grow old and get decrepit. You can wind up and not down. So I always see life as a challenge, Donna. I always see it as, if you come in my way and you stop me, there's always something around it. And there's something that I can learn from it. And there's something I can level up from it. And I always do.
Tell us how you like who makes a good client for you? Who works with you? Who are you looking to work with? Who can you help?
Okay. The people that really come to me are creatives, even if they're lawyers, even if they're scientists, doctors, whatever, they have a creative spirit. And they got to a certain point in their career and they're still not happy. And they come, okay, so what's wrong? What's not happening in my life? I'm not happy in my relationship. I, not happy in my work, or I have all this money and I'm still not happy. I have that group of people. And then I do concierge, master energy healer, where people fly me to their places and I do private sessions with, whoever is in the family or whoever they want me to work with. Then I do executive coaching for people that are very high level business people, many men that are billionaires, because now it's not millionaires, it's billionaires, right? And they're not happy in terms of their emotional life. They know how to make money, but they don't know how to enjoy life. They don't know how to have relationships, masculine and feminine, yin and yang, give and take. So I work with them. Then I have my artists, my celebrities, my actors that are just trying to come up in the world and really prove themselves and become successful, writers, painters, musicians. I love that. I love to level them up and say, you can do it. I'm kind of the winds underneath their wings. Then I have the fertility situation with women that are like in their mid 30s and all the way up to 50, 55. That it's a challenge to get pregnant. All right. I'm with them. People will say, if you stay with Aleta, you will get pregnant,
That's
because I
exciting.
don't stop. Yeah, I don't
No.
stop
And
until they're pregnant. And I
well,
have
you
a
have
team, Donna.
yeah.
I have
Well, you have
doctors and
created
I have everything. Yeah.
you have
To
created an
help.
extraordinary life, Alita, for yourself, and Obviously, if you can do it and you could do it for yourself, you're gifted and you're able to do it for others. I thank you for spending a little time with us today. I know that you're a very busy person. You're traveling all over the world, helping a lot of people. But thank you for sharing your essence with us here today on the show. And we wish you continued success. I know that you're making a big difference. I can't believe how old you told me that you were because you're stunning. You are absolutely stunning. So
Oh, thank you,
thanks for
Donna.
stopping by. Okay,
Oh, my
happiness to you.
pleasure. Thank
Okay,
you, Donna.
take care. Bye bye, Alita. Be well.